G'day guys and welcome to Aussie English. My objective here is to teach you guys the English spoken down under. So whether you want to speak like a fair income Aussie or you just want to understand what the flippin' hell we're on about when we're having a yarn, you've come to the right place. So sit back, grab a cuppa and enjoy Aussie English. Today's expression episode is to stand out like a sore thumb or to stick out like a sore thumb. This one was suggested by Chris in the Aussie English Virtual Classroom, the Facebook group that you guys can join in order to practice your English. So I really recommend do a search for Aussie English Virtual Classroom and give it a join. Click join. Today's expression, to stick out like a sore thumb, to stand out like a sore thumb. Thank you for suggesting that, Chris, and thank you for everyone who voted for this expression. So every week, I send out a post in the group and I say, what expression do you guys want to do this week? Give me some suggestions. And then with all the suggestions, I put them into a poll and let you guys vote on which expression you guys would like to learn. And so today's is to stick out like a sore thumb. As usual, let's go through the different words in this expression, guys. So to stand out or to stick out, this means to project from a surface, to be obvious, to be evident, to be extremely noticeable, right? So you can imagine that if you have a surface like this and something is sticking out, something is standing out, that it's incredibly obvious. You can see this thing standing out or sticking out. So that's a good phrasal verb to use. The nail was sticking out of a piece of wood. The nail was standing out of a piece of wood. He was standing out of the crowd because he was wearing a red t-shirt. Everyone else was wearing a blue t-shirt. So he stood out, he stuck out. Like, the word like, this is having the same characteristic or quality of something. It's similar to, you guys will know what the word like is. My head is the shape or the same shape like an egg. My eyes are the same color as the sky, so my eyes are like the sky. My beard is like the fur of a kangaroo. You know what like means. A thumb, I think a thumb is pretty obvious, guys. You guys all know what a thumb is. A thumb is the short, thick first digit or first finger on your hand. This is a thumb. So to stick out like a sore thumb or to stand out like a sore thumb, it means to be incredibly conspicuous, incredibly obvious, very easily noticed as different, right? So if you stick out like a sore thumb, you're incredibly noticeable. You're incredibly obvious. If you stand out like a sore thumb, you're incredibly conspicuous. You're very easily noticed as different. So I was looking into the origin of this phrase, to stick out like a sore thumb, to stand out like a sore thumb. And apparently it originates from the 16th century, so about the 1500s, so a good 500 years ago. And the idiom is probably much older than that. It wasn't really used for a long time, and then it came back in the 1940s. So in 1940 to 1950, it came back thanks to a book by an author called Perry Mason. So he used this phrase, and then it came back into popular culture, popular language. So I guess the idea here is pretty obvious. It's pretty self-evident that if you have a sore thumb, so you've injured your thumb, you've whacked your thumb on something, you've hit it, maybe you dislocated it and then put it back in. If it's sore, your thumb is going to stick out as it heals, right? It's not going to be in your hand. It's not going to be down like this. It's going to tend to be sticking outwards like that, standing outwards like that. And so if you've got a sore thumb and you're holding it out, especially if it's bandaged, so if you've put a bandage around your sore thumb and you're protecting it, you're caring for it, you're making sure that no one hits it, that no one hurts your thumb, then that's incredibly obvious. So it's going to be a lot more obvious to see people holding their thumb like this, where it stands out, it sticks out, than just holding a fist or holding their hand in a normal position, right? So that's where this sort of idea would have come from. So as usual, let's go through some examples of how I would use this expression, guys, to stick out like a sore thumb, to stand out like a sore thumb. This is very much used in a figurative sense. So, for example number 1, imagine that I had a really big pimple on the center of my forehead. So I had a really big pimple that was red and it was growing really big on my head. If it was really obvious, anywhere I go outside, people are going to notice the pimple on my face straight away. I could say that the pimple is standing out like a sore thumb. It's sticking out like a sore thumb. The pimple's incredibly obvious. It's incredibly easily noticed. It is conspicuous. And then I could say, as a result of the pimple, I stick out like a sore thumb. I stand out like a sore thumb because of the pimple on my head. So that's example number 1. Example number 2, imagine that you are going to a toga party, right? So you're going to a toga party, and a toga party is a party where you dress up like ancient Greeks. So you tend to wear a sheet across your body, and you might have, some of the olive branch around your head or something, but they're pretty famous in like America. But just imagine you go to a toga party, everyone's dressed up in a sheet, everyone's wearing the same clothing, except you go in a tiger costume or a Superman costume, or maybe you go in dressed up as the Hulk or as Batman. If you go dressed up as the Hulk or as Batman to a toga party, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. You're going to stand out like a sore thumb. You're going to be incredibly obvious, incredibly conspicuous, easily noticed, because you're not dressed the same as everyone else at the toga party. You're you're obviously different, so you're going to stand out, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. So that's example number 2. Example number 3, this was a really good example that I thought of. I was sitting here writing these examples out, and I remember thinking after I got past 1 and 2, I was like, I can't think of any good examples. My friend Emily is this beautiful 6 foot tall, blue-eyed, blonde girl. And if you're watching this, Emily, you're awesome. But she was in China doing her master's degree a long time ago. And I remember her telling me a story about where when she was in China, she felt like she stood out. She felt like she stuck out. She felt like a Viking, being this incredibly tall, beautiful woman with blonde hair that everyone else has dark hair. She had bright blue eyes, probably brighter than my eyes. And so everywhere she went, people wanted photos. They noticed her. They wanted to touch her hair. They wanted to talk to her. And so she felt like she stuck out like a sore thumb. She felt like she stood out like a sore thumb. So because Emily was so different from everyone else, she was incredibly conspicuous, she was seen by everyone, always noticed, she felt like she stood out, she felt like she stuck out like a sore thumb. So those are the 3 examples, guys. Now, hopefully the meaning of the phrase to stick out or to stand out like a sore thumb now sticks out or stands out like a sore thumb for you, that it's incredibly obvious. As usual, let's go through a listen and repeat exercise here, guys, where we will practice our pronunciation and usage, our use of this expression. I'm going to use to stick out in this one. I won't change between the 2 different phrasal verbs, to stick out and to stand out. So I'll use to stick out, and I'm going to say it in the future tense. I will, you will, he will. One more thing I want to say here is that if you were watching last week or you listened to last week's episode, you'll remember that I used the dark L. So instead of saying you'll, I say you'll. So pay attention to that, because that's why I'm using the future tense again. All right? Listen and repeat after me, guys. Find somewhere that you're alone, that you can speak out loud and practice your pronunciation, and say things exactly as I do to practice your English pronunciation. I'll stick out like a sore thumb. You'll stick out like a sore thumb. He'll stick out like a sore thumb. She'll stick out like a sore thumb. We'll stick out like a sore thumb. They'll stick out like a sore thumb. It'll stick out like a sore thumb. Good job, guys. Good job. So, I guess basically, the pronunciation and connected speech side of those phrases that I want to cover for you guys, pay attention to the dark L. You'll, he'll, she'll, instead of you'll, he'll, she'll. So we drop that when we're speaking really quickly. It's a lot more easy, or a lot more easy. It's a lot easier. Also pay attention to the rhythm. So notice there how I'm saying, I'll stick out like a sore thumb. He'll stick out like a sore thumb. So you'll notice there that I push all the verb and the pronoun together. He'll stick out like a sore thumb. She'll stick out like a sore thumb. You'll see how that's linked together. So notice, pay attention to my rhythm and really try and copy that when you listen and repeat these phrases. So pay attention to the rhythm, pay attention to the dark L, he'll, she'll, I'll, thou. Notice that. And then also I want you to pay attention to linking the K's onto the next word. So you'll notice in this sentence, stick ends with a K and like ends with a K. And you'll notice that when I say these sentences, I almost move that K at the ends of those words onto the start of the next words. So I'll say, it'll stick out like a sore thumb. So you see that? It'll stick out like a sore thumb. It links really well. So that's the one thing I wanted you to take away from this lesson. Pay attention to how we link the consonants at the ends of the words there, stick and like, the K, how we link it onto the next word that starts with a vowel. And so some other examples were wake up, as in I wake up in the morning, wake up, make out. If you make out with someone, you're kissing them, make out. Rake it. If you're raking, it means you're using a rake to say collect leaves in your yard. You're raking up the leaves. Rake it up, rake up. So notice the K there linking. And then I guess the last one, I have a sentence here for you to practice this, guys. So listen and repeat after me. Listen and repeat after me. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. All right, I'm going to try and say that more linked together. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. So you'll notice there that the K links to the next word that starts with a vowel. I cook and make a cake like... Yeah, anyway, it's a tongue twister. I cook and make a cake after I wake up. All right. Good job, guys. I hope you enjoy this episode. Before we finish up, I want to mention that obviously there is bonus content for this episode where I will give you a full transcript as well as an MP3 for the episode to download when you sign up to the Aussie English Classroom on the website. It's $1 to try for a month. That's 4 lessons. You'll get 1 a week for a month for $1. You'll get a massive vocab list of all the difficult words like phrasal verbs and other words that I've used in this lesson. That'll come after the main transcript. You'll then get slang exercises. You'll get a listening comprehension exercise with questions for you to answer while you listen to the episode. So asking about different things I say. So to practice your listening comprehension. You'll also have a phrasal verb exercise, which I have a feeling is going to focus on to stick out or to stand out in this episode. So we're going to practice with substituting in phrasal verbs, because I love trying to teach you guys phrasal verbs. That also comes with an MP3 for you to listen to and do as a listen and repeat exercise. So you can do that, or you can do it as a written exercise. There'll be a slang exercise at the end, guys, for Aussie slang. You'll get a pronunciation and connected speech exercise focusing more on those consonants linking to words starting with vowels this week. And then you'll have a grammar exercise, and we might fiddle with the future tense again. So remember, sign up to the Aussie English classroom, give it a go, $1 for the first month. You get 4 lessons, they get emailed to you, and you can work through 1 lesson per week. And you're going to notice your English really shoots up if you carry out each one of these lessons once a week and complete all of the exercises. Aside from that, I have one more announcement for you guys, and that is that as of next Thursday, I'm going to be starting a phrasal verb course on Facebook. The phrasal verb course is going to start. So this is going to take the place of the 7 p.m. Thursday lessons, the live lessons. They're going to be streamed live each week. I'm probably going to end up doing 2 lessons a week. So I probably won't just do 1. I think I'm going to have to do 2, because the basic idea for me is that I want to create a course that is streamed live on Facebook, and that the stream video is free for you guys. You don't have to pay for it, of course. It's free. You can just tune in and watch it at any time. It'll also be uploaded to YouTube. But that by creating this content, I'm then going to take the audio and take the video from each lesson, and I'm going to overlay it on the slideshow of all the phrasal verbs that I'm talking about in each lesson, so that you can learn a lot more deeply. You can follow it. You'll have all the words, all the phrasal verbs written in front of you. You can see pictures showing you how these phrasal verbs are acting. And you'll also get a transcript, a word-for-word transcript of each episode. But that is going to be paid material. That is going to be for people who sign up and want the extra material to really take their understanding and comprehension of phrasal verbs to the next level. So that's going to start on Thursday next week at 7 p.m. Hopefully that's enough time for me to get organized. There's also going to be a Facebook group for people who sign up with daily activities. There are going to be videos that I put on there for you guys to do exercises to practice these phrasal verbs from each lesson, from each week, for you to practice every single day. And then you're going to get all the downloads, the videos, the MP3s, and the transcripts, as well as all the other extra content. You're going to have access to that to download and use anywhere, anytime, if you sign up to be a member. So anyway, that was the announcement for today, guys. Obviously, you can come and check it out on Thursday, see what you think. I'm going to want to keep this well under $100 price range-wise. Well, under $100. I don't know. I haven't worked out how much work it's going to be yet. I want it to be probably about 2 to 3 months to finish. So it'll be 2 lessons a week, and we'll see what we can do. But that's it for today, guys. Peace out. Have an amazing weekend. Go and have some brunch. Go have some coffee. And I'll see you next week. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Aussie English podcast. I love podcasting for you, and I think it's one of the most effective ways to learn a foreign language. To help you guys learn even faster, I have created the Aussie English Supporter Pack. Each week, you get PDF transcripts, exercises, and MP3s for podcast episodes, as well as access to the Aussie English Virtual Classroom. This is a private Facebook group for members only, and it's where you can interact with me and other passionate Aussie English learners every day. If you want to take your English to the next level, visit www.theaussieenglishpodcast.com and click Learn English Faster. You're going to love it, and I'll see you there.